Come and join us in today's adventure where we take you for a trip back in time as we go in search for some forgotten about World War II sites which are hidden away along the south coast, featuring many different pillbox bunkers along with drone shots, time lapses, and tell you a story all about how sections of these towns were once blown to pieces. And that's not all. We go in search of an old shipwreck what can be dated way back to World War II, along with fortresses what played part in the Napoleonic War. We discover old lakes which we once used for testing World War II tanks. We explore ROC bunkers and even find ourselves on a live bomb range. So make yourself comfortable and let's get into today's awesome adventure. Today we start our adventure in a section of countryside just in between the old medieval town of Arundel and Littlehampton. This small countryside village just on the outskirts of these two towns was referred to as Poling, and it used to give home to these huge towers which were once referred to as a World War II radar station. Back in 1938, this section of land was commandeered and given to the military to construct a number of tall pylons as part of the defence of Britain during World War II. As you can see, the towers themselves were very conspicuous and were often targeted by enemy planes. The pylons, they stayed in place through the early years of the Cold War and were closed and then removed in 1958. So all what remains today is a small countryside cottage what's referred to as Radar Cottage. And to this day it still bears the scars in the walls of the debris and machine gun bullets from the attacks on the radar station. Which brings us to the first forgotten World War II bunker on today's episode.
Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Leg and I'm out again today. As you can see, we're out in the countryside doing like we do, and today's episode we've got a mega explore for you guys. Now today we're checking out loads of old World War II remains and World War II sites what still sit in the landscape and have been completely forgotten about. Now we're starting today's adventure. We've got Pat in the distance, and today we're in Littlehampton and we're going to see just what's here and what's been forgotten about in the landscape, what most people don't remember. Then we're going to make our way down to Bognor, Pagham and even Selsey. So hit that subscribe button and let's get in to today's explore.
Hidden away in the overgrown bushes along the side of this public footpath lies the remains of this forgotten World War II pillbox. It was once used to guard the sky and protect this old radar station from any enemy invading planes which many of times would have tried to attack and fire with their machine guns. It's estimated that there was over 28,000 different pillboxes what were constructed all over the UK, and only 6,500 of them are still believed to survive to this day. But with many of the new housing estates what are being built in all these surrounding areas, many of these old pillboxes are being destroyed and erased from history.
This one has got steps going down. As you can see, look in here guys. We've got a whole fire extinguisher on the floor. Loads of moths up there. It's a quick little pan around. Look at all the moths in here guys. Look at them. The old moths. Now they're chimney sweep moths now. See, they're all dotted around inside. We've got a gun port here, which would have looked out over the farm. Like an old rusty old seat here, and another gun port just looking out here. But other than that guys, that's about all what's inside this bunker. I would have thought they would have originally have had a door on here because you can see the hinges just here on the wall. But yeah, so that's all what's inside this bunker today. But yeah, let's head back out and let's head over to our next World War II site.
This is the seaside town of Littlehampton, which is part of the Arran district of West Sussex. As part of the Blitz, bombs were dropped all over the country by enemy aircrafts. It's believed that they were aborting their missions inland, and they used these coastal towns such as Bognor and Littlehampton to drop their bomb loads. Mainly, Littlehampton and Bognor suffered particularly, where almost 3,000 bombs in total fell over Littlehampton, damaging over 1,000 homes and even killing and sometimes injuring around 92 people. Because of this, they built bomb shelters in the towns, and many people had their own within their own houses or even gardens. Life during World War II in these parts of the country would have been very difficult, and many people went away to fight whilst others did their bit on the home front. Littlehampton became the front line as enemies progressed across Europe, and many soldiers were stationed within the town, and the beach would have even been closed off with barbed wire. Which leads us on to the next part of today's adventure, Musebrook Pond. This is Musebrook Park, what gives home to Musebrook Pond, but it's much more than a normal pond. Many don't know that this was once used back in World War II to test tanks, and even the ramps can still be seen to this day at each end of the pond, where they would have once driven a tank in from one end, through the water to test them, and back out the opposite end. But that's not all of the historical sites what are still left to this day in Littlehampton. As we head over to the mouth of the harbour, you will see just to the side lies the remains of this old abandoned fortress. It was built in 1854 to protect the entrance to the River Arran, and this fort played a real significant part in history, where it was the first Palmerston fort that was built. The fort was armed with 3 68-pounder guns and 2 32-pounder guns, each capable of firing up to 1,600 yards, and the 2 underground magazines were designed to house 126 barrels of gunpowder. The fort was planned to accommodate 2 infantry officers, 1 master gunner, and 42 NCOs and privates. The objective of this fort was to surprise and withstand the attacks by any enemy ships or landing parties to prevent the capture of the harbour. Now let's make our way over to the next part of today's adventure, the neighbouring town of Littlehampton, Bognor Regis. This is the seaside town resort of Bognor Regis. Many of the locals call this just Bognor. However, it is a seaside town resort in West Sussex, what sits on the south coast of England, just 56 miles southwest of London and 24 miles west of Brighton. The name Bognor is one of the oldest recorded Anglo-Saxon place names in Sussex, and it's referred to as Buckgang Ora, with an Anglo-Saxon meaning shore or landing place. This seaside town was developed by Sir Richard Hotham in the late 18th century on what was sand and gravel and an undeveloped coastline. It grew rapidly in the 19th century following the coming of the railway line in 1864. To this day, many people in the town don't realise that Bognor was bombed fairly heavily along with Littlehampton. Way back in February 1943, 4 people were killed. 3 people were killed on site, and 1 person died 2 days later in hospital following a sneak fighter bomber attack on this south coast town. Now let's take you and show you some of the sites from World War II what still remain on the surrounding areas of this seaside town. Located just off the coast of Aldwick and Bognor lies the submerged wreckage of this fascinating link to Britain's wartime history. Most of its concrete structure is not visible, but with its vast scale only unearthed at low tide. This is the Mulberry wreckage. This pontoon was intended to be part of the Mulberry floating harbours used to support the Allies on the invasion of France on D-Day 1944. Just one day before it was supposed to be towed across to the Channel, the pontoon broke free during a storm and it was considered to be unrecoverable and then was abandoned. Then was partly submerged ahead of the invasion to avoid detection. Now let's go show you some of the World War II bunkers what still remain in this area.
Tell me about your home. Worth fighting for?
They've been talking about this war for 1,000 years.
Now, we're just on the outskirts of Bognor at the moment. We're actually at a place called North Bursted. Now, I've been told that just along here is apparently a pillbox bunker. So I thought, what better to get out and let's go show you guys what's left here at this old forgotten World War II pillbox bunker. However, it's very wet and studgy. I've got my nice white trainers on the go. And apparently this one has been sealed up. Now it might be open, we might get in it, but let's go see what remains today. There it is, I can see it already. Can you guys see it? Just over there. Studgy underfoot, guys. Can you see it there? It's hidden in this verge here. Look at this. It looks like it's sealed off. It's definitely got metal all around it. Let's start by going around this way. Lots of graffiti on it. So it's quite big. Let's have a look at this side. Alright, so you can see here how high the water is in the ditch. So it's right on top of the ditch here. Walk along this edge without falling in, hopefully. Is the door open? Can we get in? No, it's sealed. So can't get in there, guys. Now I'm trying not to fall into the ditch. Let's get down this side. But yeah, so that one's sealed up, so we can't get in. But you can see it's quite a size, that one. So guys, that is what remains of the bunker at North Bursted near Bognor. Now let's head over to Pagham and show you one what's not quite so well known in Pagham, what I believe we're going to be able to access inside. However, they're about to build a whole new housing estate with it. But let's show you just what it's like inside some of these old forgotten pillbox bunkers. And I do know the one at Pagham was actually used to shoot an enemy plane down.
This is the coastal village of Pagham, and tucked away in the bushes just behind the houses lies the remains of this old World War II bunker what once played a key role in defending the country. It was once armed by multiple brave soldiers who actually managed to shoot down an enemy World War II plane from this exact site. The bunker was surrounded by anti-tank ditches and the plane what they shot managed to come down and crash into one of the nearby fields. Now let's take you inside and show you the setup in this flooded pillbox bunker. Sadly, this particular bunker has fallen victim to one of the bunkers what have been completely erased from history. This is because of it is now recently been built on and is a brand new housing estate, so this bunker no longer exists. But this is what it looked like inside when it once stood just 2 years ago in Pagham. Now let's head over to Selsey and show you some of the forgotten bunkers what remain there, and even the unexploded bomb site where they still find bombs to this day from World War II. Tucked away in the bushes at the end of Golf Links Lane in Selsey lies the remains of an old ROC bunker from the Cold War. This is what it would look like looking down the hatch and climbing down into the bunker. However, sadly the bunker is no longer accessible due to vandals what got inside and set it on fire. Which leads us on to the final part of today's adventure. Let's head over and take you to the unexploded bomb site where bombs are still found to this day from World War II, and the bomb squad have to come out and explode them. There's a section of seafront named Medmerry Beach near Selsey which has had many unexploded bombs been found there. The bomb squad normally have to come out and detonate these bombs as they're highly explosive and very dangerous. And here's just one of the clips of one of these unexploded bombs what have been found and the bomb squad coming out to detonate it. Thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed the video then don't forget to like and subscribe and tell us in the comments just where you're from.